This Talents and Passion Identification iMovie is intended to explain the process used in the Verona Area School District to identify students who appear to be performing above their grade level peers or appear to have certain passions or talents in areas required by the Department of Public Instruction for identification. TAP identification is not intended to place labels on students. Rather, it is an internal process the district uses to help ensure we are not missing students who are performing above their grade level peers or who may need something different than what is taking place in the classroom. The Department of Public Instruction requires all school districts in the state of Wisconsin to identify students in 5 areas: intellectual, academic, leadership, creativity, and the arts. What does intellectual mean? This means that a student is performing well above their peers in numerous academic areas. You can read more about characteristics of intellectually talented students under the Characteristics tab of the TAP website. Under the area of academic, the Verona Area School District considers the following: reading, language arts with an emphasis on writing, mathematics, science, and social studies. Under the area of the arts, art, music, and performing arts are considered. For each of the 5 areas of identification, the district is required to look at least 2 pieces of data or evidence, if not more. Let's look at the areas of reading and language arts first. National, state, and district assessments are collected. We pulled data for the top 7% of students in each grade level for each of the assessments listed on this slide. In addition, parent nominations are recorded, and teacher nominations are collected and recorded as well. In addition, students can nominate themselves and their peers for language arts. Just as with reading, math assessment data is collected using students who score in the top 7% of their class on assessments. Teacher, parent, peer, and self-nominations are also recorded. The final academic area of social studies is just like the other academic areas. It should also be noted for all academic areas that the top 10% of African American and Latino scores are recorded, as these populations have been historically underrepresented across the nation in all areas of gifted and talented. When we get to leadership, test data is not available, so the only data we have is a bit more subjective. We use teacher, parent, peer, and self-nominations. Like leadership, parent, teacher, self, and peer nominations are used for creativity and art. And finally, teacher, parent, peer, and self-nominations are used for music and performing arts identification. Once all the data for each area is collected, it is entered on a large spreadsheet. A spreadsheet is created then for each school. Any student who has scored in the top 7% of his or her class will have that score recorded on the spreadsheet. If a parent has nominated his or her child, that will be recorded as well. Each time a learner is nominated by a teacher, a student, by him or herself, it is also recorded on the spreadsheet. Once all the data is recorded on the spreadsheet, the data is reviewed for each student, and students who have enough data to indicate they may be performing above their grade level peers or who may have talents and passions in one or more areas are highlighted. Students who are identified one year may not necessarily be identified the following year due to fluctuations in test scores or differences in nominations, but they are still kept on the list and coded with a different color so we can continue to monitor them to make sure we are meeting their needs. This learner data is then shared with the building leadership teams, and they in turn share the data with teachers so that teachers can watch these learners to make sure their needs are being met in the classroom. We often get asked the question, is my child gifted? We believe a better question to ask is, are the needs of my child being met? If your child is being challenged and his or her needs are being met, that's what we want for each and every learner. If the answer is no, then it's time to meet with the teacher to see how we can better meet the needs of your child. Remember, this is not about labeling a learner, but rather about meeting the needs of each and every learner in the Verona Area School District. You may now be aware the Verona Area Board of Education in April of 2013 approved new strategic priorities. There is an implementation schedule with full implementation to take place in 2016-17. As we move closer to implementation of these strategic priorities, the TAP identification process may become obsolete as the personalized learning plans will zero in on the talents and passions of each and every learner in the Verona Area School District.